I believe something's just happened.
Well, what do you want to go straight to it now? It's the terrible, terrible news of what's happening in the UK right now. I've got the figures in front of me. 35,383 new infections in 24 hours. There's also been 532 deaths in 24 hours. Total deaths so far, 66,000 people. Over that. Joe, we do this show every week. We've been doing the show as a podcast for many years. And today, when I heard the news, I was just, you get sort of beaten down with it, don't you? About the news, about the virus, about what's going on and how people ignore it. But today, I was upset. I mean, literally, 2 hours ago, this information came out. I'm upset at what's going on. I'm just lost with it all. And I'm really put off doing the show tonight because this is, just imagine, it's 66,000 people, families, fathers, brothers, sisters. It's just terrible, terrible. And we're deadened to it. We're used to it now because it's been bombarded. We're in level 3, tier 3, tier 2. It's nonsense. Mike, I know you're angry about what's going on regarding Christmas.
Well, both. I'm fed up because here we are, we're doing this show and it's Anglo-American politics, current affairs, and yet what it's beginning to feel like is it's a show based around the two capitals of COVID. I mean, we're just we've literally got the two countries, the United States and the United Kingdom, that are leading the path in destructive behaviour, in that we're ignoring science now and that we're just crashing on with this and people are dying left, right and centre. I mean, I've got a massive problem with what's happening in the UK. Later on, we're going to get into detail over the United States, which has got to, I was referring, if you've watched the earlier shows, where I said that January was going to be a cauldron of death, and it sounded a bit dramatic. That cauldron is already nearly here. It's happening quicker than I could have imagined. But let's just have a look at the situation in the UK. We've got a nice video to watch.
If business owners had hoped for a pre-Christmas boost, they were set to be disappointed. The Netherlands is back in lockdown. Non-essential shops, hairdressers, cinemas and gyms will have to stay closed until mid-January. In what would usually be a bustling area of The Hague at this time of year, the streets were near empty. But those out and about accepted the new rules.
It's necessary, so I approve it completely.
They implemented it too late. Should have been done in middle of November.
There are so many people that are sick or that are at hospitals helping them. So, I mean, we're fine,
Schools and daycare centres will also remain shut as the government tries to fight a rise in COVID-19 cases. Social interaction will be restricted, with people told to limit contact at home to 2 people. That will be relaxed over Christmas to allow 3 visitors. In a televised address to the nation, Prime Minister Mark Rutte insisted the restrictions were necessary, saying we have to bite through this very sour apple before things get better. And he's not the only European leader either taking or contemplating tough measures. In Germany, where the government announced a new lockdown yesterday, drive-through Christmas markets have sprung up around the country. Food can be bought for consumption in vehicles, one of the few seasonal options for people who want to escape their homes.
It's a lovely idea. We like it a lot.
Unusual ideas for unusual times.
I think they've done really well at creating some atmosphere, especially for the children.
The German lockdown will come into force tomorrow in an effort to tackle stubbornly high infection rates, and people rush to get their last-minute Christmas shopping done. Chancellor Angela Merkel forced to take further steps after lighter restrictions failed. And the Italian government may be forced to follow. In one of the main shopping streets in Rome, the queues were not at the tills, but at COVID test sites. Worries have grown about crowds gathering for Christmas events, and a curfew and a ban on non-essential movement are being contemplated.
And it's now likely that the next big mistake will be over the easing of restrictions over Christmas. And this isn't smarmy lawyers. Let me give you the British Medical Journal. The British Medical Journal yesterday said this: we believe the government is about to blunder into another major error that will cost many lives. The Prime Minister should listen to that advice, not just ignore it as usual. And if he really is going to press ahead with this, can he tell us what's the assessment, and has it been done, of the impact that it will have on infection rates and increased pressure on the NHS? What's the impact?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I wish he'd have the guts just to say what he really wants to do, which is to cancel the plans people have made and cancel Christmas. I think that's what he's driving at, Mr. Speaker. He's looking a bit blank. I think that's what he's driving at. But I can tell him that as of today, and just this morning, there is actually, as I say, unanimous agreement across all the UK government, across all the devolved administrations, including members of all parties, Mr. Speaker, including his own, that we should proceed in principle with the existing regulations, Mr. Speaker, because we don't want to criminalise people's long-made plans, Mr. Speaker, but we do think it's absolutely vital that people should, at this very, very tricky time, exercise a high degree of personal responsibility, especially when they come into contact with elderly people, and avoid contact with elderly people wherever possible. And that is how, by being sensible and cautious, not by imposing endless lockdowns or cancelling Christmas, as he would appear to want to do. That's the only implication I can draw from what he's said, Mr. Speaker, unless he wants to announce some other idea. That is the way we will continue to work together to keep this virus under control, to defeat it and take the country forward.
What can you say? What can you say? I couldn't agree more with what Keir Starmer was saying and what a lot of sensible people are saying. Well, I've said it before on this show, this Christmas nonsense, this obsession with, Christmas. And he's going on like, he would cancel Christmas. And is Christmas worth dying for?
Great point. In Northern Ireland, I've just been told that from Boxing Day, there will be a 6-week lockdown from Boxing Day. But prior to Boxing Day, help yourself, go get it. Absolute nonsense.
Thank you for watching. I'm impressed. You've passed the IQ test and got this far, so let's press that button to do the last thing that helps us. It's got subscribe on it, you can't miss it, and please ring the bell for notifications of future videos.